Hello and welcome to the podcast that doesn't understand why centre-backs are taking all the penalties. It's the big man up top.
It certainly is.
Why? They're all just skying them.
I know, it's an odd thing, but again, just get whoever can hit it hardest.
It's hard, isn't it? Because we complain about all the stutter penalties, and centre-backs don't really do that unless you're Gabriel in a Champions League final.
Of course.
But we just long for players to just run up and hit it, but not centre-backs.
Just hit the ball, but on target.
On target, please.
That's what you want. What are we talking about today, Joe?
Well, we've got a lot to catch up on, Ed.
I know.
We last spoke before the USA-Belgium game, so there's been a lot of fallout from that.
There certainly has.
We're going to talk about that. And we are going to just make our way through the biggest stories of the week, including there's been a lot of talk about unfairness. This week.
I know, exactly. And we don't want to be, the football conspiracy podcast.
Of course not.
But also,
we are.
Don't mind it. So, should we kick off with some Bible ballers?
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, kick off, that's good. Right, I'm quizzing you today, Joe. So, Bible ballers is all about footballers who share their first name with a book in the Bible. This is a really tedious one, Joe, because we're running out of things, but the same format as before.
Yes, lovely.
I want you to name some players in a classic World Cup game. Does that sound good?
Yeah, nice.
Now, you weren't born for this.
Oh, great.
Neither was I. 21st of June 1970.
Oh, goodness me.
One of the greatest World Cup games ever. Brazil 4, Italy 1. On the bench for Brazil that day was defender Marco Antonio.
Right.
Book of Marco. I've done that a few times.
Good, yeah.
For your point today, I want you to name 3 players who started that game for Brazil.
That's really unfair.
I mean, come on, this is
genuinely no idea.
Iconic Brazil 1970.
There's one that I know.
The greatest ever World Cup team of all time. Good. Well, that's going to be a bit of fun, isn't it, Tom?
Bless him. You're going to have to let him do a Google or something.
Well, Tom can help as well.
Yeah, Ronaldinho.
Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome. There's one for you. John Stones.
I'll give you some time to think about it, Joe.
Thanks very much.
Now, Joe, during the last podcast, did we know that Balogun... We did know, didn't we? Because we spoke to Larry about it.
We did speak about it in
Balogun
depth,
had
nice
his...
to know that you remember.
Well, I've got to be honest, I've slept since then. But of course, since then, the game has happened. Balogun played.
Yes.
And it's fair to say, he didn't really help the US, did he? Because Belgium ran out 4-1 winners.
Yeah. Are we surprised that...
I was.
Were you?
Yeah, because... The US have played well. We all know they've played well, but also Belgium are that classic. Well, get to the last 16 and then all goes a bit wrong.
Yeah,
underperforming. Whereas the US have been overperforming. I think at the very least we expected this to be closer than it was.
Well, I think in terms of not so much the scoreline, I agree. I fancied USA a bit more than this, but I think from my point of view, as soon as the Balogun stuff started, I thought US, it just distracted from the whole thing. It distracted 100%. From the vibe and the momentum.
100%.
So I was not surprised at all that Balogun didn't really play well. He had 11 touches in the first half.
And it's fair to say as well that the Belgians would use this as extra motivation as well, surely. Because the second that a team goes into a game feeling like there's been an injustice from the start, they feel like the US have maybe given a goal head start, so they come out flying and really deserve this one. Yeah,
very much so. It's the best Belgian performance so far. I think they've been starting with Charles de Ketelaere up front, and it's not really worked in the group stage and the round of 32. Lukaku's been coming on and saving the day so far, which we love to see. But he had a really good game. He opened the scoring quite early on. And I just think Belgium had a bit too much quality for US. They got back into it to a really good free kick, deflected slightly, but still a really good strike. But Belgium's class just told in the end.
Do we think this is a game too far for the US? Because let's be honest, even getting to this point, it's still a massive success for them.
I think so. I think it's been a really good World Cup, and obviously the atmosphere at all of their games has been great. They have been objectively good hosts as a football team, haven't they? They've been everything you want from a host: good atmosphere, good players, good performances. But I think this was just one game too far. As soon as they started to play those better teams that actually have a bit more longevity, and is players that are more used to kind of that kind of atmosphere, aren't they? Like the European teams are more used to playing against adversity, and I think they came up against a team that were well prepared for this game.
And I think it's really important that we are very clear in making that distinction between, this whole Trump Infantino thing and the US team, because I think the US team, Pochettino and his players, have got a lot to be proud of in terms of the way they've gone about this World Cup. It should be remembered as a success, and yet if we're not careful, it will just be remembered for, oh yeah, do you remember that time the president got upset and got Infantino on the phone, etc. And so I think it's all about the perspective and the nuance of those two things being completely separate.
It's a hugely important point that you make there, is that there is a big difference. And you're right, this Balogun story is going to be the US's story of this World Cup. You'll read that everywhere. And these days, the social media is the most important core, isn't it? That's where the opinions are, where the hot takes are. And it's not nuanced, is it? Like opinions online. It will be remembered for this Balogun story. So it's so important that we look at that kind of difference of, look, these players have been great. Pochettino's been a success there, and it's not their fault that politics have got involved in this story.
I think we should then move on, Joe, to Argentina versus Egypt, which is either one of the biggest dodgy things to have happened in a World Cup since who knows when, since Belgium USA, or it's one of the most stunning comebacks you've ever seen. Incredible game,
absolutely incredible.
Argentina and Messi pulling magic out of a hat in the last 10 minutes from 2-0 down to win 3-2. Stunning game.
I have to say, I wasn't able to watch this game, and I was gutted. I pulled in from work on Tuesday evening, and look, I love my mother-in-law. It's a great way to start. I love my mother-in-law dearly.
She's fine.
No, she is great. But I turn up home, I see her car on the drive, and I think, I'm not watching this game, am I? I'd already had a text from you saying, are you watching this? Yeah. And that shows me I need to get in, need to get home, put this game on, see the mother-in-law's car there, and like, that's not happening.
Yeah, and I think I texted you saying, are you watching this, when Egypt had their second goal disallowed. Yeah. So I texted you, it had already been great, and I texted you, and it was getting even better, and it only got better from there. Honestly, so it would have been a great time for you to tune in.
Honestly, so I kind of had it on the laptop on silent whilst there was conversation going on, and I was very distracted. Yeah. But I did watch the highlights back. What was fascinating about this is the highlights I watched were from the FIFA website.
Right.
2 minutes long. Completely ignore that Egypt goal that got disallowed.
Yeah, I've watched those highlights. They're very quick.
Quick. Really quick highlights. And I watched the game. I was like, I'm sure there was like controversy.
Yeah. No.
People like, no, just goals. just watch the goals.
So I also had a moment with this in terms of watching with family. So I was watching it with my eldest, who's quite into football, and she loves Messi and Haaland and all the big name players and all that. So we were watching it, and it was quite exciting. And my wife got in just as Argentina scored their first goal. And I just said, do you want to come and sit and watch? My wife hates football, Joe. I said, do you want to come? And she was like, I really don't want to watch the football. And I was like, oh, but this is quite exciting. And there's only 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, fine. So she sat down in the room that we were in to watch it with me. And and you're like, you really want to then watch a great 10 minutes, and it was the best 10 minutes. And I turned, and after that third goal, and I went, that's incredible. Turned to look at her. She was on her phone.
That's classic. Are you not watching this?
I'm like, this is massive.
Let's rewind.
Well, I think it's important that we talk about the sort of the controversy that's come out off the back of it, because Egypt had a goal ruled out, as I said, for a foul in the build-up, and again, was it? Yeah, probably. Lots of kind of probably decisions that I think have essentially gone to feeling like the Egyptians feel like they've been treated unfairly, don't they?
Yeah.
And that it's more than just a bad refereeing performance, but actually there's something more sinister going on.
There's already this low-key narrative, which I don't think is entirely true, that FIFA want Argentina to win this World Cup again because Lionel Messi, he's the GOAT. We don't really say that.
Well, he's already done that. He did that in Qatar, and it was a lovely bow. But the point is that Messi's already had that moment. So I don't see. I do think. I don't think this is a hot take. It serves FIFA to have their big names in, doesn't it? For advertising purposes, you want Haaland, Kane, Messi to be involved right until they don't want Morocco versus I don't know whoever else. Yeah, as to be the final, no. Do they? Let's be honest about that.
Yeah.
But does that then mean that they're actively going out of their way to try and make it happen? I think that's a step too far.
I think that is a step too far. There is this narrative. I don't agree with it. But then when decisions like this happen, it only feeds that narrative. Again, going back to the social media conversation. Because this foul, it probably was a foul. It's quite soft, but the VAR has decided that foul is within the same attacking phase of play because that counter-attack is so lightning quick. It was like 19 seconds until the ball went in the net. So I think it is probably the right decision. I mean, the VAR have to speed up the footage to get to the goal quicker, which is a nice departure from watching it all in slow-mo, isn't it? Just think they're just making up for, watching everything in slow-mo.
I think so. But you're right. And the thing is like the Bible is it won't surprise you to know that the Bible doesn't talk about conspiracy theories.
It probably wasn't a thing, right?
Yeah, particularly. There's a verse, there's so many verses all over the place that talk about injustice, but there's also verses that talk about, speaking up, speaking out against bad decisions, speaking out against injustices. And also it talks about being gracious, and so we've got to assume that means, being gracious in defeat, being a good loser is a good thing, isn't it?
I think that's it. There's been so many kind of quote unquote conspiracies. Particularly this week, you've got this Egypt one, you've got the Argentina thing. There's also things about Argentina officiating the France-Morocco game. The cards per foul stats that we've spoken about, how England seem to be getting more cards than anyone, depending on their fouls. The Kwanzaa suspension, which will also come on. There's been all that chat. So then how do we respond to that? Like you say, there's verses, particularly Micah 6:8 is a really well-known one. Act justly, love mercy, walk humbly. I think it's really poignant that they're in the same sentence, almost. Act justly. That is standing up to when there's a decision you feel might be unfair, you can stand up to it. We're called to call things like that. But at the same time, love mercy and walk humbly. You do it with grace. You do it with humility. So, again, we spoke on Tuesday about it's not the end thing, it's the way you go about it. It's the same here, isn't it? That you can call out things, but it's the way you do it as well matters.
I think that's a really good place to move on. Speaking of humility, is to talk about Kylian Mbappe.
Yes. Which genuinely, I think the narrative around him has shifted. I think
that's
quite wildly.
It sounds like I'm making a joke. No, it does because
it usually does. If you'd said that like 2 weeks ago, we'd be laughing, right?
Yeah.
But I think this week he again has conducted himself with a large amount of humility.
We'll come on to talk about the France-Morocco game shortly. But do you think that's just sort of maybe part of him? Like, you kind of forget that he's an old player now.
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Maturity, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's a thing of him sort of growing up a little bit. I feel like Wayne Rooney was always like that in those early World Cups. He was a petulant teenager, and then became this sort of roaring lion of a leader, and I think like Mbappe's sort of very much fallen into that same camp, hasn't he?
Yeah, we should probably talk about the story around this.
Yeah, go for it.
So this is to do with off the back of France's victory over Paraguay. Celeste Amarilla, who is a senator from Paraguay's Liberal Radical Party, she, after the game, posted a torrent of racial abuse against Mbappe on social media. Some quite awful things, wasn't it, that she came out and said, and just really like unacceptable behaviour. And even like the Paraguay government have come out and said that was unacceptable. Like, we don't agree with those views. Mbappe then hits out in quite a strongly worded response, calls her out. She says that and I actually really like this line that he says, because again, this is showing a huge amount of respect to Paraguay. It said, "You are not representing the country that has shown passion and honour throughout this tournament."
Yeah.
We spoke about the way Paraguay played the other day, and Mbappe's response to that, like how he's been able to say, "Oh no, that wasn't dirty. It was passionate and it was honourable."
And
right?
and that's it. It could have so easily been Mbappe turning around going, "Well, I don't care what you have to say because you're from this country who." As we said, displayed really awful behaviour on the pitch as well. But no, he has then come to defend the Paraguayan team almost in his response, which is it's remarkably humble, remarkably humble.
Really good. It's really nice to see that, and again, it's that maturity, isn't it? And it's showing that he is a leader, as well. Amarilla then publishes this open letter that is kind of it's not an apology at all, is it? Like She kind of accuses him of gender-based violence because he's hit out at her and that kind of thing. So it's just got particularly nasty, hasn't it? I think she's not really shown herself in a good light.
Not at all. And also just to mention that sort of one of the sort of weird side stories of this was a sort of a similarly awful comment by the former Paraguay goalkeeper Jose Luis Chilavert, who I'm very upset about that because he was a great goalie.
So good.
And used to, famously was the guy that kept scoring free kicks.
Yeah.
And again, you're just sort of thinking, like, it is such a shame that this tournament gets sort of brought into disrepute by these kinds of really unsavoury things that get said by people who, honestly, I think should be doing better.
Yeah.
But I mean, France, just going back onto the game, kind of sweeping Morocco aside, really, and that's the scary thing about the French at the moment is it looks like they're getting to the final in second gear, doesn't it?
It was so easy for them. You expected more of a fight from Morocco, I think, from this one because they've had a fairly good tournament. It was a rematch of the semis in 2022, so you kind of think, oh, they're going to be up for this. They're going to, in a similar way to Paraguay, I think they knew that they couldn't go toe-to-toe, so you expected a bit more defensive solidity, I think. And they just didn't really show anything. They conceded a penalty, which Mbappe then, it was saved. Another stutter penalty, Ed.
Yes.
It really didn't work for him.
No,
it did not work for him.
No, it didn't. But we like Mbappe now, so it's
we
fine.
do, it's fine. Can I, one thing I just want to briefly touch on this is terrible World Cup content, Joe.
Okay, go on.
And it's, for once, not from us.
That's good to know. We're not on our own.
We know how the World Cup is, it's social media is awash with all sorts of stuff, and that's part of why we feel like we've got a bit of a responsibility, because we want to be in that same landscape but bringing something a bit different, bringing a message of hope in that as well. But I did have to roll my eyes at a reel that BBC Sport, who again should know better, posted, and it was all about Mbappe's celebrations during Dembele's goal, the second goal against Morocco, right?
Okay.
And there was a sort of a kind of a clickbaity title like "Watch Mbappe's celebrations," right? And it had like a split screen of Dembele scoring his goal on the bottom half, and then Mbappe and what he was doing off the ball, and then and he makes a nice little decoy run, creates a space for Dembele to have a go. But it's Dembele's goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mbappe's had very little involvement in it. And essentially I'm going, what's he going to have done? All he did was put his arms in the air and run off after Dembele to go and say, well done.
So that madman!
I was like,
lock him up.
I was like, what is it? And I watched it, and this is the trap, Joe. I watched it 4 times to see if I'd missed something. Had I missed like, a lovely gesture, or have I missed him, I don't know, going and speaking to one of the opposition players or talking to somebody in the crowd? No. absolutely nothing, nonsense content, and it needs to stop, Joe.
Oh, well, this is how they get you, Ed. You know what the BBC are doing here. Not to go off on a rant, but we're all clinging to content, aren't we?
We've got to, because we're irrelevant in about 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, so you've got to, what are people talking about? Mbappe. Let's put a video of Mbappe up.
That's exactly.
It's all about the algorithms.
That's exactly what it was. And to be fair, I did watch it 4 times, so I'm contributing.
They've got you hook, line, and sinker.
I feel like we now need to move on to the big story.
Okay.
England.
Yes, of course. It's what we're waiting
England
for.
v Norway.
Get through the other stuff.
Tomorrow night. I think as we're talking about controversies, it feels like the first thing to say is that England, there was conversation about them appealing Jarell Kwanzaa's red card.
Yeah.
And instead of, him being allowed to play like Balogun, he's had his ban extended to
so English,
to 2 games, hasn't he?
I thought it was a 2-game penalty from the start.
No, it's 1 game suspension.
Is that not what comes with red cards?
So there's a whole thing in the Premier League. It's 3 games for straight red, isn't it?
Yeah.
3 games for straight red.
It depends on what you do, but for this incident, yeah.
So if you got 2 yellows, that goes into a red.
Yeah,
that would be a 1-game suspension. That's right.
And in the World Cup, is it any different?
No, a red card is just an automatic 1-game ban.
So what has he done that deserves two games?
That's Joe. That's a question for you.
Well, I don't have the answer, Tom.
Well, I'm outraged.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean,
I think it's probably deemed to be more dangerous foul play or whatever it is.
It's because the tackle was particularly dangerous. I think they see, but it's one of those. If we didn't appeal, I mean, I don't know if it's official that we did make an appeal.
They were talking. They were talking about it.
Yeah, they're going to give a call,
which is fine. I don't know whether your call helped. It might have hindered, actually, if anything.
Might have done. I think I did bother him a couple more times afterwards, I think Gigi may have got a bit frustrated with me.
Yeah, Gigi. I think but it comes back to this question of unfairness, isn't it? Because I think as an isolated incident, you see the tackle, it's a red card, and you're like, fine, 2 games, like, fine, whatever. But then you compare it to the Balogun situation. You compare it to the Ronaldo situation at the start. It just isn't adding up, is it? It's not. There's no consistency.
And I do worry in that situation, because if there is a grand conspiracy, I promise you it's not to favour England. we are not liked generally across the world, are we?
No.
Let's just finally touch on the actual game itself. Of course, Kwanzaa nowhere near the situation due to his suspension, but we might have a right back, because Reece James has been training, hasn't he? Yes. So he's in contention to start.
Huge.
I really, really, really hope he does, because I'm very worried if we start having to mess about with sending Kwanzaa out there, and I get worried about that.
There's also talk that Declan Rice is ill.
Yes, he's had a stomach bug, hasn't he?
Has he though?
But then I've seen that the whole Norway team is ill as well. They've all got the flu.
These things do happen
at
World Cups. You've got to be careful.
Quarterfinals.
Is it all just like
there's history there?
Is it all just fear mongering though? Is it like are they
all just content?
It's great. I do not remember a World Cup like this for mad stuff like that. It's been all World Cup. I'm not going to say that my podcast has basically fueled it.
I think it has.
But maybe it has, Joe.
I think you've started the conspiracy alarms going, Ed. It's all down to you.
I'm expecting to see like Harry Kane stubs his toe in morning practice.
What I would say is that if Anthony Gordon is accused of jewellery theft in Miami in the early hours of the morning before the game,
then we will pin it on you.
Then we will pin it on me. That's absolutely fine. What do we? I think the big question here is, how are we going to cope with Haaland?
I think that's the big question, but I think that's the key, right? To deal with him. We've got 2 centre-backs who play with him regularly. Could that be our secret weapon? Or could that hinder us, you know? But it's about locking him down, but it's not just locking him down, it's doing it for the whole game.
Yeah.
Because he can go 85 minutes without a sniff and then suddenly turn up.
For me, it's about the supply. I think if they are sticking crosses in the box, I fear that one of them will go. We've got to make sure that we're getting out, and we're
you know the answer to this.
I've got 3
Dan
3 words. Big Dan Burn.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about that incredible the incredible point of view video of Dan Burn during
repelling crosses
during the Mexico game. It was fantastic. It's It's only slightly beaten by Haaland's the Gabriel one. Have you seen? It
just comes from nowhere.
Gabriel's ready to head the ball away, and all of a sudden he just gets absolutely steamrolled by a CGI Erling Haaland. It's good fun. Predictions? Do you think we're going to do it?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think we will.
Yeah. I think if we're disciplined, I think if we stop supply, I think we've got enough to do this.
I think Sunday was a bigger test than this.
Yeah, I agree.
Purely from all the factors we've all spoken about. We're not going to say the A word again. We should clarify
altitude.
Not anything else.
Oh dear.
Mexico having a great record there. I think that was a bigger test than this. I think Norway are a very good team. Let's hope they are running out of steam. That they've been rowing the whole World Cup. Let's hope their arms are getting achy.
Yeah.
You know?
Bible Ballers, Joe, how are you feeling?
Oh, terrible.
Great, well that's good. So I'll read out your question again. We're talking about the 1970 World Cup final in Mexico between Brazil and Italy, one of the greatest World Cup games of all time. Brazil 4, Italy 1. Marco Antonio was on the bench for Brazil that day. For your point, I want you to name 3 Brazilian players who started that match. And there was 4 separate goal scorers for Brazil, so
Yeah, I remember them all.
You remember them all.
This is annoying, guys.
Come on, you can do this.
If you'd done, I don't know, Tottenham against Reading 2012, I'd name you the whole 11.
Yeah.
Yunus Kabul. Benoit Asuaka.
All right, that's not what I've asked you to do.
Pavlyuchenko.
I've not asked you to do that. Come on,
okay.
Name
Pele.
Correct.
Oh, nice.
Pele is one. Now, I have no idea of Brazilian timelines. And look, this is a weak area.
Okay.
I know good Brazilian players from the past, but did they all play in this game?
Well, just go for it.
So I'm gonna guess at right back, was it Carlos Alberto?
Correct.
Wow.
Captain and scorer of the final goal, the greatest ever World Cup goal, I think, or one of the greatest.
Great. And then we are struggling. Trying to think of that. On FIFA, you'd play Classic 11.
Yeah.
Who is in that? Socrates? Is he in that team? Oh, no, I've not committed that because his face has changed. So that was just me spitballing.
Okay,
so
well, I can tell you Socrates is incorrect. So
that's incorrect.
He was late 70s, early 80s, I think.
Who would their keeper be? I don't know, Tom.
Rob Albinio?
I'm starting a name and then looking at your face.
I was just going to cover my eyes. Okay, go. You're going to have to guess somebody.
Rene. Can I have a clue? Can you give me like the position of someone that I should have heard of?
A very famous right winger.
Garincha!
No, unlucky. Good effort though. Good effort. No,
I thought that was it, Tom. Go on.
No, so your starting 11 was, and to be fair, the back four was difficult in the goalie. Felix in goal, Carlos Alberto at right back, Brito and Piazza at centre back, and Everaldo at left back. In midfield, Clodoaldo and Gerson in the middle, Rivellino at left midfield, Jairzinho was on the right wing. I thought you might get him, and Pele started up front with Tostão. Well, that's all we've got time for, Joe.
It is very much so.
We're getting there, aren't we? It's near the end.
Yeah, we're scraping over the line. Thank you so much for listening to The Big Man Up Top. If you want to get in touch with the show, please ping us an email to podcast@ucb.co.uk. Please follow, subscribe, give us good reviews, because this will help us get the word out. Get involved on our YouTube comments, our Spotify comments, our Instagram comments @BigManUpTopPod if you want to get involved. Also, please tell your mates about this podcast if you want to help us spread the word. There'll be a new episode next Tuesday. Will England be involved or will they not, Tom?
Well, if they're out, we might not do one.
We'll just gloss over it, pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah, we'll start talking about the tennis or something.
All right then.
Thanks, Joe.
Bye.